Ashley here on Talking Books with Ashley to do the mid-year book freakout tag. I have to look at my phone some because I honestly don't know the questions. And this being my first year on BookTube, I decided to do this tag, but I'm 2 months late. Mid-year is July, so you'll just have to bear with me. Yeah. I'm behind. It's fine. No big deal. Best book you've read so far in 2020. I'm going to say Beach Reads by Emily Henry. This was a romance. I think I've already done like a review on this. I don't know. I'll have to look. It's got August Everett, who is an acclaimed literary fiction writer, and January, who is a best-selling romance author. And she has hit a rough patch in her life, going through some struggles. August is, well, he's a literary fiction writer, and he looks at the world as a dark and bleak place all the time. He, sorry, it's bothering me. So he's got to, they've both got to write a book to give to their agents, and they decide to try to write each other's genre, like swap. There's a deal, see which one can write the best one. It's great. I loved it. I loved their relationship. I loved the chemistry between the two of them. Probably, I mean, not probably, it is my favorite book probably of 2020, standalone. The best sequel you've read so far in 2020. Harrow the Ninth. I'm devastated by these books. This is the sequel to Gideon the Ninth, and when you start out reading it, I can't tell you a lot about this one because then it would spoil Gideon, but when you start out reading it, you don't know what's going on. You're following Harrow from the first book, and you know, something has happened in the first book that makes this one kind of devastating, and she doesn't know what's going on. The characters she's in the book with, the new characters, and Simone thinks she's lost her mind. She believes she's gone mad, but doesn't understand why. Like, and you piece it together little by little. This would not be for everybody because of the writing style and because of the story matter. It is so detailed. So much happens, but it's so good. But it is the weirdest book I've ever written. I mean, not written, read. Weirdest book I've ever read. And that's saying something, because Gideon was probably the weirdest book I'd ever read. New release you haven't read yet but want to. Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal. I'm trying to get it to focus. This is the third in the Lady Astronaut series. The first one is The Calculating Stars. It was my favorite book of last year. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend The Calculating Stars on either book format or audiobook, because Mary Robinette Kowal narrates her own audiobooks, and she does such a good job. She this series is about, well, lady astronauts. An asteroid has hit the earth, destroyed the earth, and you have to or we're having to colonize the moon. And this, I don't honestly know what happens in this one, because they were going, in the second one they went from the moon to Mars, and they're going to different planets. The main character's name is Elma York. It kind of reminds me of a Space Cowboys, like the movie, but with women, and instead of elderly men who can't go to Mars or the moon, women are having to fight their way into space. And it seems odd to me you would have to fight, considering you are needed to colonize something as a woman. But, you know, it was good. Or, I mean, I haven't read the third one yet. So that's probably most anticipated. Oh, no. That's the one I haven't read yet that I own. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year that I do not physically have. That is going to be... Where's that? Oh, there it is. The Archive of the Forgotten by A.J. Hackwith. This is the second novel in her The Library of the Unwritten series, about a library set in hell. If you have not read The Library of the Unwritten, I highly recommend you go pick it up now because it's amazing. And I am really anticipating this one. It comes out, I don't honestly know when it comes out. I didn't know it was coming out this year until the other day when I was watching somebody else's booktube video and they got an arc of it and I wanted to cry because I want one so bad. But I'm new. I don't get arcs and I don't really read arcs. I have gotten arcs from NetGalley, but I never picked them up, so I quit requesting. Because I have so many bought books on my shelf that it's hard for me to focus on books that aren't out yet. When I can just read them when they come out. That's personal opinion. Beside the point. Next. Biggest disappointment. The one I've got in my hand. Bromance book. The second in the Bromance book club series. Undercover Bromance. By Alicia K. Adams. This was based around the plot of Bromance Book Club is this group of men who read romances, and they are, this one is Braden Mack and Liv, who was the sister of the first heroine in the series. She's grumpy and angry and he's sunshine and roses. And she witnesses a sexual assault and then spends the whole entire book blaming women for their sexual assaults. And I hated it. Also, spinning a romance around her harassment and assault does not make a fun book for me because you can't... Like, I kept waiting for another shoe to drop, somebody else to get harassed. And it made the reading experience absolutely horrible for me. So I would not recommend this one if you don't want to read about sexual assault. Because it's a mystery, romantic, or what's it called? A mystery with romance or whatever. It just wasn't for me. It was bad. Romantic suspense. Jeez. Took forever to find the word for that. Just no. Biggest surprise. The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. Yep. That's his name. Phil Stamper. This is based on a teenager who runs his own journalist site, who's going to work for BuzzFeed, and his fat dad all of a sudden becomes the new astronaut for it's kind of like NASA, and they have to be on a reality TV series. It's cute, it's fun, I loved it. If you haven't read it, I would really go recommend it. It's on the list up there with Beach Read is one of my favorite of the year because it's adorable. The relationship between the characters, the storyline, just everything was absolutely adorable. So, and I only say it was a biggest surprise because I had never read anything. I'm pretty sure this is the author's debut. And debut, I always leave room for growing pains. Let me put it that way. And I didn't struggle. It was adorable. Just perfect. Favorite new author or debut? Can I say this one? Okay, I did. No, I'm not going to use that one. Where'd that book go? The Highwayman by I'm going to say Brian, Kerrigan Brian. I had read one of her books called The Business of Blood, I think. Maybe at the end of last year or beginning. I don't know if I read it in January. Oh, but it was so good. And it's a historical based on Jack the Ripper, but it's not like about Jack the Ripper. It's about a woman who cleans up for the dead. And in those times, women that worked, especially in those kind of fields, were not really respected. And it's really good. That's The Business of Blood. But then I read this one and I loved it. This is her Victorian Rebel series. And then I read How to Love a Duke in 10 Days. And I loved it. So far everything I've read by her has been like 5 out of 5. And she has so many books to pick from. So, new debut for me. New to me. Anyways. Favorite. Newest fictional crush. I am 29 years old. I don't do fictional crushes. I love fictional characters. But I'm not going to be like book boyfriend, book girlfriend. I'm out of that. So, I'm just going to go back to an oldie favorite from 2005 and say Edward. I about died when this came out, so you know, it is what it is. Newest favorite character. I'm gonna go back to the very beginning and say January and August from Beach Reads. I've already talked about it. I'm not gonna get back into it. Book that made you cry. Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. If there, you can't see it. Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan made me squall. Anybody who's ever read this, I have heard say the exact same things. It's a romance, basketball romance, professional, of course, about a woman who is in a horribly abusive relationship and a man who falls in love with her at the wrong time. She is the strongest character I've ever read. She picks herself up. She gets herself out of a horrible relationship. And I cried like a baby. I wasn't like 5 stars out of 5, like 5 out of 5 with the ending, because I feel like it could have been done a little bit different. But that's still, it's an amazing book. I really recommend it. Book that made you happy. I have 2 that I've already talked about. This one made me happy when it come out, when I read it. This one, same. This is the most recent that made me happy, but I've read them back to back. They're perfect. I love them. Most beautiful book you've bought so far. I haven't actually read this one, but I absolutely love the cover. A Peculiar Peril by Jeff Vandermeer. Honestly, I only bought it because of Jeff Vandermeer. But then the cover, look. I'm pretty sure that's some kind of otter or beaver. There's a bird. It's just, it's so cute. It's adorable. This is his YA. On the front it says perfect for Neil Gaiman fans or Patrick Rothfuss. I have never read Patrick Rothfuss, but I love Neil Gaiman. And I really like Jeff Vandermeer. I read his Annihilation series. I read all 3 of them. I loved the first one, and the second was just and the third was better than the second, but first is still the best. I'm assuming this is going to be in the same kind of weird vein. And I'll get to it eventually. But it's pretty. And last but not last, but what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Every single one I've bought and haven't read, but I'll just show you the one I have sitting here, which is The Yellow House by Sarah Embroom. This is a I believe, a memoir, National Best Book Award winner. I heard about it in a podcast, and I bought it because it was on paperback, and I will read it. I need to, but that's just the one I have sitting here. And last but not least, favorite book community member. I have been watching BookTube forever, and I would love to be able to shout out like smaller BookTube, but I don't know that many, so I'll just say Books and Lala because she's the one I've been watching since forever. And that's it. That is my mid-year book freak out tag. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear them. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye.